There were 7 men. Each one of them had their own gun on a Sunday, October. It was 2015. Me and my family are just chilled. We are not even thinking that we are about to go through a very traumatic evening. Just the background of the story. At home, we lived in a plot where one house is here, the other house is there, the other one is there. So it is not easy for anyone to notice when there is actually something wrong happening at a particular house. So, okay, cool. Hey, my sister was the one cooking, so luckily me and my sister decided that day that we are not going to be in the sitting room with my dad and my stepmom at the time, right? We decided that we're going to go and chill in the kitchen while my sister is cooking and while I'm preparing for school tomorrow. Okay, cool. Right, so as we were preparing at around 7 to 8, the dog starts barking. My niece starts crying, and she cried so hard. So when that happens now, when the dog barks, obviously my dad usually goes outside to check what's happening outside and stuff like that, right? So my dad does that. He goes outside. He was in the sitting room, right, with my stepmom. So he steps outside and he goes outside to check what's happening, right? So as my dad steps out the door, he goes next to the garage door. When he gets there, he peeps on the side of the garage door and he sees a man standing there pointing a gun at him. Just one man. My dad runs back to the sitting room and he screams "Huashiwa," just so that he makes us aware that there's something going on outside. And he tells my stepmom that she should get a weapon or something in their bedroom. Did my stepmom not run forever and she never even came back? She closed the door in their room and she never came out. So my dad stood there right at the door and he tried to push the door. While he was trying to push the door, right, me and my sister heard that my dad was like "Washiwa." My sister is still chilled. She's not thinking that there's something actually happening. But me, on the other hand, I'm like, no man, something is off. So I walk to there's next to our kitchen door, there's a window, right, where you can actually see what's happening in the sitting room. Okay, cool. So I go next to the window and I open the curtain just a bit. And as I open the curtain, you will not believe what I saw. 7 men, 7 plus their boss was standing at the window, right next to the window, right? But the boss was actually facing the other way, so he did not see that I was actually opening the curtain to see what's happening, right? So there were 7 men. Each one of them had their own gun. When I saw that, I was like, there's no way. So I just peeped a little bit, and then when I saw that, I left the curtain like that, and then I went back to my bedroom. So when I was inside my bedroom, I stood at the window of my bedroom and I was like, should I go outside? What should I do at this point? Because, wow, this is so... But I was panicking. I was literally panicking. Okay, so I had to change rooms. So I'm standing at the window and I start asking myself questions. I decided, let me not go outside. I took my phone. Luckily that day I had airtime. I start calling my aunt and then I start calling my brother, right? So when I called my aunt started calling the police. So I tell my sister that there are people standing with guns outside and she's like, there's no way. She put my niece down. She goes at the window of the kitchen and she opens in a way that the boss that is standing at the window realizes that someone is opening the curtain. Now we are in shit because now they realize that there are kids in here. I don't know why I'm saying the boss. The reason why I'm saying the boss is because he was just standing there. It was like he was looking, what's gonna happen? He was checking the coast. Right? He realizes that there are kids in here, and then he turns around, start kicking the door. He starts kicking the kitchen door. Now I'm shaking. I started shaking. I was so scared, but luckily the door did not open, and I feel like he didn't put in so much effort in kicking the door. They went inside. This is now the story that I got from my dad, because I could not hear what they were saying in there, right? So they start saying to my dad, they want money. They start picking up mattresses. They go in their room where my stepmom is in, and they start raising mattresses, putting them upside down. They just did a mess just because they were looking for money, right? So they said to my dad that he should take out the money. Because they didn't find any, they started telling my dad that he should give them money. And my dad is like, I do not have any money. And they were like, if you don't give us any money, we are shooting your leg, meaning that you won't have a leg for the rest of your life. My dad tried to beg them not to do that, and they didn't, right? Luckily. But then they were like, get us the money. And then they hit him with the gun on his forehead. My dad has a scar here till today. So they hit my dad with a gun. My dad starts coming out a lot of blood. The blood also spills on the couches. It was a mess. And all of a sudden I hear silence. I think they took 5 minutes doing whatever that they were doing, and then I heard silence. I didn't hear feet running away. I didn't hear footsteps. I didn't hear anything. I just heard silence. And then I thought maybe they ran away. Because my sister is that brave, she opens the door and she looks outside. They are gone. My dad steps outside, waiting there in the middle of the stoop. I can say the stoop king. He stood there, and that's when I realized that actually it means that these people ran away. My sister tried to look around where they ran to and stuff like that. Now, Google. I hope you guys can hear it, Shamias. I stand at the door of the kitchen and I look at my dad, and he has so much blood on his face and on his t-shirt. I could not see my dad's skin on his face. My dad was wearing a brown shirt. I could not even see the color of the shirt, the way he was full of blood. I was so hurt. And I'm like to my dad, did they hurt you? My dad was like, cool. Meaning too much. Guys. I did not cry because I was still shocked. I was still... guys, that feeling. While we were waiting for people to arrive, my dad's cousin arrived, and he's like, where are they? He also had his gun, and he wanted to fight those people, but unfortunately they had ran away already. My aunt and her husband arrive, and they get us there, and they see that actually trouble is happening. And then on the other hand, my stepmom, unfortunately she fainted, and then she woke up. I don't know how she woke up. And when she comes out, she's wet. Guys, she peed on her pants the way she was so scared. Okay, cool. So my aunt arrives and we tell her what happened and stuff like that. They decided that they're gonna take my stepmom and my dad to the hospital, because my dad had to have a bandage on his head because it was coming out so much blood. They took both of them to Kopanong Hospital. My aunt stayed with us, right? And while she was with us, I keep on asking her questions like, are we now supposed to move? The way I was so traumatized, guys, I thought we must now take everything and just leave, because that was so traumatic, right? Okay, cool. So after that, my my aunt's husband comes back with both of them, right? And then now my dad has like a bandage on his head. We waited for police. They were like, it's not even a distance. We had like a police station nearby, but they came after maybe 1 hour. They came literally after 1 hour after that incident happened. Them showing up, they are passing by the gate first, and then when they realized that okay, the incident is over, then they came. Hey, South African police, Ashim. Okay, cool. So they came back, and then they came inside and they saw what they were doing, and they were just concerned about the car in the garage. They were like, oh, they didn't touch the car and stuff like that. And then they took pictures, and then that was it. They just took notes, took information of what they saw and all of the stuff, and then the only thing that they said to us was that they are not going to come back again. That's all we heard from the police, and then they left. So now remember, my sister was cooking supper. Is it supper? Yes, my sister was cooking, so she was done, right? So we ate. My dad could not eat because they hit him. His lips were like swollen, right? So he could not open his mouth. So he could not eat. Actually, we could not, all of us, we could not eat because it was so traumatic. Have you ever been scared to an extent where you can't even eat? That's what we felt at that time. Okay, cool. So we could not eat, and then my aunt and his husband left us, and then we were left alone again, and we could not sleep that night, right? And the following day, me and my sister did not even go to school, right? So the following day, my dad decides that he should go to the police station again. He takes the car and then he goes to the police station. When he arrives at the police station, obviously they already know of the incident, and then they took the police car and then they drove around my area. Those people lived in the area. Dad saw one of them, right? And he like told the police that this is one of them. This is the one that came to rob us. And the police were just like, they said nothing about it. If you know, you know that these people that go inside people's houses use something to, what's this, on their faces or whatsoever. I think they go somewhere just to make that the police don't recognize them after they did something wrong. So I think that was the case with them, right? So my dad showed the police who the people were, and the police did nothing about it. They did absolutely nothing about it. My dad came back home, and then my stepmom tried to like wipe the blood that was on the couch. We just tried to clean the mess that they did, and then yeah. So what they took from my dad was his ID, right? Was his ID and the money that he had in his pocket, and his Nokia Lumia. You remember that phone that used to take quality pictures at the time? Yeah, my dad had that phone. They took my dad's new Nokia Lumia, guys, and yeah, that was it. And then I will not forget that year because me and my sister, we both failed. I failed my grade 9 and my sister failed her grade 10. So it was a very traumatic year for us. Hence, I still do not forget that it was in October on a Sunday evening. I won't forget that day. So yeah, I think that's the end of the story. That's how the story ended. Unfortunately, the police didn't do anything about the fact that they robbed us, and we just had to live with it. We didn't go to any kind of therapy or psychology or whatsoever. We did none of that. So that is the end of the story, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed, and if you want to hear more of my stories, please do not forget to subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.